cool with us?
Alma, do you want to participate?
And
We have a
we're
play for you,
live.
girl.
We're live. We're setting
Wow.
up and we're
I
live.
was told to go live. So
Okay.
I'm
Yes. Mic.
This.
Can you get the mic? I'll do the.
Wait, do we need to test them?
Nice.
We're not using
Oh, we're
them.
not using them. Never mind.
No.
Forget
Not
it.
using them.
Sorry. Just be loud.
Just be loud. Wow.
Okay.
I think you can do this.
Such.
Bring your inner TA again.
Thank you. Can you pass it over, please?
Bring your inner TA
Maybe
again.
you two should swap.
Yeah. For sure.
Oh.
Also, this needs to go. So much. We need to move closer.
How much are you pouring?
Oh, that's just the first 5.
Now I'm
Yeah,
not
and the
in
last
frame
one is the
anymore.
one you're pouring.
We need to move that way.
You stabbed me with your little hand.
We need to move that. Oh my god.
Okay, squad, we're here. We're live. I feel energized. I don't have to do no editing.
Let's go.
I can go as loud as I want.
That's true. Hold on, let me mess
Wait,
with
do you
us
wanna
live,
go
I
here?
guess.
Okay.
Wait. The table's too chunky.
We're visible.
We
It's fine.
can't
If
do
you-
anything with
if you
the
sit, like, on the
table
corner,
at this point.
Or there.
I'm okay with the center.
How do we know? if
Wait,
we have
or should we have
viewers?
Jerry here?
We
Where
have
are the
no
viewers? We have no
currently.
viewers.
No viewers. Kushi.
I am on it. I'm on it.
What's going on, Dan?
Dang.
I'm not gonna ping at here though.
Not ping.
You know
Ping,
what?
ping at you in the
In
CCAA.
subset?
No, in CCAA. It's like,
No, I was on subset, bro.
oh, bro.
Pass me the hand sanitizer. Dang, once
Yeah,
we
we should
get...
have one viewer.
Yes! I'm okay.
No. Yes, our live viewer. Yes.
You know what?
It's okay, you're already here.
Here you go. Feel free to...
Yeah.
When we
Okay.
become super famous, they're gonna be like, I was there when you guys barely
I
had
have
50. I'll
sent
be
a
like,
message
yeah,
to all.
And then I'm going to say something accidentally politically incorrect today and get cancelled 20 years down the line.
Yes.
And
That'd be
then-
so good for viewership, though.
Yeah. But your
Yeah.
viewership.
Okay. Are you ready?
Wait, are these all
If
of
we
them?
get ad revenue, we'll share or
Are
something.
these all of them?
No, we have
Send us
other
a-
5 here. That's just the first 5.
So these are the easiest five, right?
Yes.
No.
Or she reversed the order.
No, stop. Chill.
What do you mean?
Chill.
I would never.
Chill.
Okay.
Okay, I'll just pour some here.
This might
Okay.
be still from the COVID era.
Oh. I mean, there's a kitchen right down there.
Can you bring the two?
It does say
We want-
expiration
Yeah,
2022.
yeah. And
We
then-
could wash our hands. Right?
It's okay, it's alcohol.
But yeah.
That's fine. Good job.
Perfect.
Okay.
Actually, my hand sanitizer might also be expired.
Yeah, no, I don't think this stuff expires.
Is that
There's no
possible?
way this expires. It's literally.
It's probably the activation reaction or something like this.
Yeah, it's fine,
Pieces or
it's
something. But
Okay, team, welcome to the chaos. This is behind the CS lecture.
already chaos.
I am so sorry.
Behind the
On your
scenes.
chill.
My second rule, bro.
Okay. Do we have a viewer?
Oh, 2 viewers.
2 viewers.
Let's
Okay.
go. They're gonna be like, oh, I thought she was quiet.
Wait, who?
What do you
No, like, who would have thought that?
2 people. I'm sure I don't know them.
They might be from
Nice.
me.
They're gonna be like this. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Cool.
Are you starting?
Yes, we're starting.
Okay.
Start.
I'm starting?
Yes.
What's up, guys? Welcome back.
Okay, which one is the lightest one?
Wait, you're trying it already?
You're trying already? Let's give me the second
It's
half.
chips. Oh, all right.
Sure. I mean, you can if you want. We're not gonna stop you, but.
Sorry,
What is this
proceed.
one, actually? Let me go.
Ahmed is locked.
Start.
Mohammed's
Ahmed?
watching?
From 8A? Fall?
Who's watching?
What's
Yeah,
up?
Ahmed.
Are you not looking at the chat?
Oh,
No.
I'm blind.
hey guys, it's on.
You
What's
can
up,
see
Ahmed?
from here.
That's why-
I forgot about the chat, to be honest.
Okay.
Speaking as
Hello.
a former media production student from 8 years ago, this is you guys got to step up your game. Do you want me to do some consulting for you?
Yeah.
Hey. I saw a Reddit post that said
Thank you, man.
if you can't be funny within the first 10 minutes, you don't have like a dream to do something for 3 hours. I think we already started laughing. I'm sure they're laughing too. I'm sure they're like, ah.
Look at your text, Thomas. Geo.
Geo. Okay, Thomas.
Yeah,
Actually, let's
Geo.
start.
I mean, not you.
Yo, I'm about to leave. I'm about to leave.
Thomas, this is
Bad
chaos
idea.
so far.
I got replaced by you, now you're getting replaced by Geo.
Oh my god, bro.
Go, Thomas.
She's replacing everyone by Geo.
It's crazy. It's
Okay.
crazy.
Start.
Hello, my name is Thomas. This is
Audrey.
Kushi.
and
And my name is in the video title.
Jerry, our
Jerry.
wonderful guest Jerry. And today we will be doing a podcast live for you all because Audrey doesn't want to edit. She actually hasn't edited anything, I don't think.
Yeah, which is why you haven't seen our intro video.
Yeah, which is why we're forced to do an intro right now.
So if you don't edit it, what if I have to pick my nose in the next hour?
Well,
Go
this is
off
live,
camera.
so-
Go around with that.
Have someone else pick it for you.
Okay.
Where's your assistant? Where's your assistant? Where's your assistant?
We do have production staff, so
You just put my name
Just like,
live.
did
no.
not sign up for this.
it's okay. It's okay.
We're just doxing people.
Okay, it gets business. People
Yes.
have homework to do at home. Right?
That is why they're called home
Not Geo.
offices.
Oh, bro. Okay.
I can't lean back or I go out of frame.
Yeah.
Do you want to come
Sorry.
here?
You have to
Or-
where?
No,
yeah.
it's fine. It's fine.
I'm not roasting him.
Okay,
Okay.
let's start with the questions.
Start with the question. Okay. Oh, yes, I will actually pull it up over here for you.
So,
Okay.
for context, we're doing the Hot Ones challenge. Did I get this for my RA job? Yes. Did I get this with my dining dollars? Yes. In this economy, we take anything that is free. But yeah, so we'll be doing a question. No, I think we're like dabbing first. And then a
We're doing
question.
that for the second part.
Oh.
Activity part.
Never mind.
Should we not have Jerry do an intro?
Yes, we're having Jerry do an intro first.
Jerry, please
introduce
for
yourself.
the viewers.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, to this wonderful episode of the podcast hosted by Audria, Kushi, and Thomas.
The way you
Um,
blanked out already, but okay.
And obviously, I'm not your host. I'm your guest. And for some reason, I'm hosting this podcast. So if
Yes.
you've just joined us, I'm the guest, and these three are the hosts. So I'm going to see what they're going to ask me, and I'm going to see what I can answer. And we're going to eat because I haven't eaten since 12 p.m.
What?
And it
You
is
can eat
currently
that.
8:23, and we haven't got to the first question yet, despite promising all of you waiting at home and eagerly sitting by your radio machines that we were going to start at 8 p.m. This is where we are now, so enjoy the show. That is the guest-sponsored intro, and we will jump into it.
Couldn't say it better myself.
Literally,
Yes.
I
Sorry
cannot-
for the delay, but we're here. Okay. Let's go this way. You can start for the first one. Yeah.
Can you compare your University of Wisconsin-Madison with UCSD? Tell us all the tea.
Okay. Well, it's a very cold, desolate place, Wisconsin.
Mhm.
But everyone's very nice because they can't afford to be not nice. Otherwise, you bury them in the snow. It's I guess geographically it's very different because Madison is a city. It's surrounded by 4 lakes, right? So that's a sort of feature of the Midwest. You have a lot more water than you do here in the desert in California. So the scenery is very different, and because it's surrounded by 4 lakes, that means sort of everything is sort of we call it an isthmus, I think is the word, when a strip of land is surrounded by bodies of water. So yeah, that meant everything is sort of together, whereas UCSD is very spread out. So I, in my 3rd and 4th year of college, I lived off campus in an apartment building, and I was 5 minutes walk away from the CS building, despite being off campus, because that's something, it's different because it's very much a college town, and obviously Madison was also the state capital. So yeah, like you walk everywhere and there's no pressure to get a car, obviously, even if you live off campus, it's very easy to get around. And In terms of school life, I mean, obviously, Madison is known as this giant party school, which is the polar opposite of what UCSD is. And if you've just joined us, UCSD is known as the University of California Socially Dead, right? Which is what I was in the party school. I was socially dead in the party school. So does that mean I fit in better in UCSD? Not necessarily. I think, you know, you always end up finding your crowd, sort of. Even in parties. I mean, I'm not going to pretend that I didn't try to go to parties, you know, go to these late night events when I was in my freshman year, when I was, you know, that was also my first year living in America, to you know, to fit in and to sort of go with the flow. And obviously that didn't work out because I hated it. I went to on University Avenue, there was this bar called Liquid, and I went in there, and then it was loud music. Everyone was jumping up and down for no discernible reason. And I thought that it wasn't for me, so I sort of just lived a very quiet life. I mean, I had friends who liked to party, and miraculously they decided to stay friends with me despite my heavy reluctance to do anything, basically. And yeah, so it was good. I mean, obviously, you know, when it's so many years ago, I graduated in the year 2020. And it is obviously now, if you've just joined us, 2025. And if you're watching this in the future, some other year that is greater than 2025. So obviously it's many years ago. And you know, a characteristic of something that happened many years ago is that you sort of only remember the good parts, right? So you sort of shut out the negative things, you know, like, how tolerant are you guys to swearing?
It's not for kids. We had this option. It's not
So
for kids.
if
It's
you've
not
just
for
joined
kids.
us, parents, this is an R-rated program.
It's not.
Our opinion.
All right, what's the one? Sorry, M-rated, whatever. So mature audiences only.
We're not mature.
Yeah, no, none of you are mature. Otherwise, you would have proper microphones sitting in front of you.
We are poor. We are poor.
Oh, well,
This
true.
is Heinz.
You're not bored. Mine's still
We got this Volvo for
This
free.
is from an event. It is for free, okay? I am not. Sorry, go on.
And if you've just joined us, I'm the guest. I'm supposed to be talking. Where was I? So yeah, Wisconsin was a different vibe, and but you know, you sort of just get along with people as much as you can. Not always, but you know, yeah. So, I mean, in terms of CS, I guess we're doing this podcast. Is this CS centric or?
Yeah.
Like
Do not-
CS
okay.
education.
Yeah. So in terms of CS, I mean, this is also my experience because when I came to UCSD, I came as a master's student, and I started talking to undergrads. It's very different because sort of, at least in my circle, you know, in Madison, nobody really had any sort of CS experience coming in. You know, like kids who grew up in Wisconsin, they're not going to have a bunch of CS activities in high school. And, you know, the rest of us, we weren't that passionate about CS anyway. So like we took classes, we sort of struggled along, and we figured out after many, many years what we wanted to do or what we could do, I suppose. Whereas, you know, when I first came to California, one thing that really struck me was that everyone, and not everyone, but a lot of people had much more of a CS background, and which makes a lot of people kind of irritating. But but yeah, that is definitely a difference in terms of background between, you know, I guess the two student bodies, because everyone's yeah, sometimes I feel like it's more cutthroat almost in California, because like, especially, you know, yeah, I have my gripes with the, I don't know, the CS atmosphere sometimes, because you know, I don't consider myself someone who's, I have been holding this chip for 10 minutes. I have yet to take a bite.
It's so expressive,
I'm
bro.
going to take a bite of it now. So bear with us.
This is the
We'll be-
ASMR part right
We'll be right back after this chip eating.
chip eating break, guys.
Oh, I gotta fill the void as I chew.
A long time to shoot with one chip.
Bro, okay.
Do not question my digestion. I used to have terrible indigestion when I was in high school.
Oh no.
You know,
Hey, we don't judge.
like there was a period in high school, which was obviously many, many years ago now, where I think it was my second year of high school, where 80% of the time after a meal, I would really, really want to throw up. And 50% of the time I did. And I went to the doctor and they couldn't figure out what exactly was wrong. But it went away eventually in the end. But it was an interesting period of time. Yeah. So yeah, no, like I think yeah, we can. That was my whole speech. Yeah.
Do you think if you could go back, you'd want to, I guess, spend more time going out, I guess, to parties and stuff during your undergrad, or are you content with your?
No,
sort of
that's
decision?
not something that I particularly regret, you know, because I found my group of friends, you know, that they sort of tolerated with my reclusiveness, and I tolerated their outgoingness, right? They're outdoor. They always want to go outside for something.
Yeah.
It's Madison, Wisconsin. The winters are minus 30 degrees cold,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, let's go out. Let's go out. Why would you want to go out? Why not stay at home with free heating? I think it was free. Yeah, it was free for the most of the apartment buildings. They didn't charge you an extra for the heating.
Good.
Yeah, because otherwise you die if you don't have heating. So yeah, like I don't regret not going to parties, and I still don't, obviously. You know, I've never, like here in San Diego, you know, everyone says, oh, go to North Park, or you know, go to Gaslamp. Yeah, right. No, I'm very much a sort of stay at home or take a walk around the neighborhood sort of person. So no, yeah, it's. I think, you know, something that I have somehow managed to do after so many years, which it has been a struggle, you know, with all the cultural differences with a lot of other people, is I've sort of come to a point where I'm reasonably comfortable with what I'm like, and I don't feel as much of a pressure anymore to sort of cater to other people's, you know, the crowd. And I mean, sometimes it does suck because you know, it's sometimes you feel left out in certain things, but you know, eventually, you know, you find your crowd, you find your comfort zone, and then you stay in it, which is a cowardly thing to do, some might say, but yeah, that's it. So no, it's the answer.
Well, I mean, I feel like, okay, now the person that I know as of you, right? I don't really see you as like introverted, right? So, and I say that because from what I've seen in general, like you are actually one of the most loved TAs.
I think,
And
you know,
I think that is something that a lot of people agree with me on, especially if they've had you as a TA or if they've worked with you as a tutor. So, and because like I worked with you when you were a TA for CS11, right? And I think you were really great. You basically were like the lead TA at the time. So,
Posh.
Yeah. No, I agree. Also, because
Yeah.
I took CSE 30. I think it was at that point.
Yeah,
You were my TA.
student.
Yeah,
You were my
yeah.
student.
like just in general, there's a consensus that like you're one of the best TAs, right? So, I guess in a general way, just describe your experience as a TA. What did you love about it? Anything you hated?
Well, it's well, I've always sort of liked the idea of teaching. You know, it feels like it's something meaningful to do, and it's something that I really have been missing since I left UCSD, and that's why I still try to come back every quarter to do some loitering around,
Grading party crashing.
grading party crashing, although perhaps less often now that people I know are also leaving. So eventually I come into a grading party and then it's not going to be anyone I know, and they're going to be like, "But who the fuck is this guy? Why is he
Why is he here?
Why does he come here to freeload off of our department-sponsored food?" And at which point my midlife crisis will be complete and I will come back for a PhD. Um,
Which will not.
Yeah, no. So yeah, no, I mean, teaching is, I think most people who have taught, who have, sat with a student or a group of students and explained something to them, and for them to then figure something out or learn something from you, will agree that it is a very good experience. So that's the good part. The bad part is obviously that it can be sometimes, I think that is the case with any job, right? Anything that you like doing, that you eventually do extensively, either professionally, full-time, or something along those lines, is that you begin to discover the parts that are mundane, that are boring, that are even frustrating. So it's not just about TAing. If you want to be a professional podcast host, if you want to be a professional audio engineer, if you want to be a professional dancer, a pianist, a filmmaker, anything like that, eventually, the glamour wears off after a certain point or past a certain point, and then you see beyond that, which is something that is, the grind, I suppose, in a sense, and the things that you won't enjoy necessarily as much. So some things I didn't necessarily enjoy as a TA was sort of like when you have to put the hammer down, right?
Right.
And this is for, when, like, for instance, when you catch someone who's, there's an academic integrity violation, and then you sort of have to deal with it. You have to sit down and be confrontational, right? You have to be confrontational. You have to say, okay, you messed up, and then sort of figure out how to do that in a diplomatic and elegant way without obviously being too, what's the word I'm looking for? Without being too
Like
harsh, aggressive, unreasonable, because like you put yourself in a position where you're maybe in charge of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 tutors, I think at most we had, and then several hundreds of students. It's, your decisions have a lot of power, right? You decide, oh, I'm going to give everyone an extension on this assignment, or I'm going to decide to do this or do that, and that suddenly you're impacting like multiple hundreds of people's week, quarter, or even potentially some hidden influence farther down the line. So like it's a lot of power, and sometimes it goes to your head, and you need to make sure it doesn't go to your head, basically. You can't be a power tripping TA. You can't be a power tripping instructor, professors. And I think to an extent we've all sort of encountered people, either whether students, tutor, TAs, or professors who are sort of like that. That you put them in charge of things, and suddenly, boom, goes to their head, and they start be less of a pleasant individual. And I catch myself sometimes. Or not catch, I caught myself in moments like that. And, I wouldn't say it's part of a job that I don't like, but it's just, very frankly, it's a challenge, right? That you have to address like that. So it's something to do with their individual personality as well. Like some people, they are invulnerable to these corruptions of the mind. But I am obviously not perfect. I have several personality flaws. That I will not elaborate if you just joined us. So like sometimes it gets to my head, right? Having all that control and power, authority, for lack of a better word. So you need to make sure that you are still doing good. You are not letting this thing, sort of control you and get to your head, get in your head and start acting like an absolute b-hole. So yeah, that's another challenge. And then I hate grading. That's it. I hate grading. I absolutely detest grading.
Grading parties.
Yeah. Grading party is fine because there's free food, but if I actually have to sit down and then I have to just grade the same problem for 200, 300, 500, 600 students, I will go insane and I turn into a dictator. So yeah, there's obviously just the repetitive stuff nobody likes. I feel like I've always enjoyed doing creative work, work that is meaningful. If you have me doing manual grading, oh my god, what am I getting paid for? But I mean, someone has to do it, and that's another thing. You can't be like, oh, I'm in this position. I only want to do things that I want to do, right? You can't do that. You gotta just sort of sit down and just get the work out of the way, painful and mind-numbing as it may be. And I know I'm making myself sound like a very good TA right now, and I that is not my intention in any way. Okay, for those of you that just joined us, I don't know why I keep saying that. So yeah, like it is. I don't think I have, by any stretch of the imagination, perfected the craft. Right? If I keep doing it long enough, I've only done it for 2 years. If I keep doing it, one day I'm going to do something that is tremendously stable. And I am not saying that I haven't. Right? I've mismanaged things very horribly before. I have, lost my temper before. I have, misused my time or abused other people's time before. Those are all mistakes that I've made in that position. And yeah. So like, what am I trying to say? Sometimes I start a sentence, it's so long and I just forget what I'm trying to say by the end of it. So yeah, like if I kept doing it for like another few years, at some point I'm going to do something and mess up so tremendously that I'll question my own sanity and be like, am I really going to want to do this or something like that? But it happens. So like it's whatever it is, it's a constant learning experience. I don't think anyone has ever really perfected the craft that is teaching. Right. Certainly. So yeah. I don't even remember what the question was, so I'm going
It was just describing your
Another
experience.
chip.
This is perfect.
Yeah. I think we have quite a lot of chat now. I don't know
We
if
do
we've
have a
been,
lot of chat,
keeping track
and
of
I got
that.
a message to read the chat, but
Read the chat. I will read the
Do you
chat.
want to read?
I will read the chat. The chat has been saying,
The
is that
close-up
Boba
of
from the Revel event?
Yes.
3 hours old.
More than 3
It's the
hours
next
old.
message.
Professor Jerry when never. Quasar. Oh, hello. Oh, right. Hi, Quiz. I suddenly feel old. I remember tutoring Audrey in. Yeah, there's a tutor. There's a ex-student.
How are PAs?
How are the chips? Hi. Hey. Yeah.
They're like, she was always in office.
She was always in office.
Are you still at Berkeley or have you graduated?
Yeah.
While we wait for the response.
Yeah.
There is some response.
Hi, Jerry. Hi, Cushy.
Whoever said hi,
I
hi.
have an
Trevor.
optometrist appointment.
Trevor, oh hi.
I have an optometrist appointment in this weekend, so I'm looking forward to. Oh my god, I'm
Sorry, it is
I'm
too
done.
far
I'm
from
done.
me. I
Okay.
literally can't.
Anyway, let's move on to other
Audrey,
questions.
Yeah, no, but just on like concluding that, it's definitely stressful, like TAing and like
Yeah.
not just
You-
like trying to make sure students are understanding, but like the whole grading stuff, logistics,
Right.
working in a team,
Right.
time management. But I like Kushi said, you were literally like, we all look up to you. Like people just know you, and it's like, how did you know Jerry? And like, I think you definitely like you excelled in what you did. And I'm sure there was moments where you were like, you want to choke people?
I want to choke myself most of the time,
No, you.
and that is
I
not a
can-
suggestive thing. Okay.
He's like, don't go there. I am a mandated reporter, by the way.
Wait, what?
She's a mandated reporter.
What does that mean?
It's like when someone mentions something to do with like self-harm.
Oh,
like
I
I
see,
have
I
to
She is an
report
RA.
it.
I see.
But
Right.
okay, wait. So should we move on to the next question? Like, when are we gonna?
Yeah, sure.
How much
Because
time do you
I-
have? Let's just.
You know what? Why don't I pull up the chat?
No, we
Perfect.
have questions, but like, how much time do you have till? Is the question right now?
That way we know if we should start
How
with the
should we
chips now.
Organize it because we have a lot of
Well,
questions.
we
need
said
to
an hour, right? So.
But we were late, so that's what I'm asking.
Oh, I
If
see.
you want
Well,
to
I
end
mean-
at 9 or.
We can go.
I don't know. That's what I'm asking because we were late. But like, I don't know if you have anything right after or something planned.
No, I mean, I can I can do the whole hour. I can.
Okay.
Let's try the first sauce.
Yeah.
Why not?
Sure.
I
Let's try the
agree.
first one.
Okay.
We can go
Let's
to
dip it.
the activity
Wait, what was
then.
the first one?
The
So I
clear
understand-
Wait,
one.
are we going to the activity or just?
I'm not going crazy. This is not a chicken wing, right?
Oh, that's a lot.
No,
No,
it actually is a
it-
chicken wing.
I've been looking forward to having chicken wings all day.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I
I
never said chicken wings. Okay.
When you say hot ones,
I
that
just
is
said
the
hot ones.
implication.
I can. We can go to.
The other
Burger King after.
implication, the other implication, if I may, is that I would have a microphone.
Who said
We
that?
have this all the details.
I never said anything like this. Okay.
I think your publicist wasn't clear with you.
He has his own politics, which is himself.
You know what? I'll take you to eat. We'll feed you after.
dirty
man.
birds.
We'll feed you after.
Wikipedia.
Okay. Wait, did you read?
I already
You already ate it.
Wait, we were gonna eat.
Wait, it's really good.
Okay, I guess we're
Right,
eating.
right,
Bye.
Okay. What's the question? What is it?
Get Audrey to DM you. Bro,
Hard to-
chill. This is not
I
private
can
DMs right now. Stop using private
Okay.
DMs on Discord. I'm gonna disable my notifications actually.
Okay.
I
Next
want to pull
question.
up the chat.
Do you use links?
No, I mean I'm
He hasn't.
I'm technically subscribed.
It's weird.
You subscribe.
It tastes weird.
I
What?
like it.
It's not my favorite.
The other ones tasted more weird than this one.
But which one did you do? You did this
This one, yeah.
beige
That
one,
one.
right?
Yeah.
No. I remember like I've done it before once.
Oh,
with her. Oh yeah. me.
Lead hot one sauce taster, like
No, I
Could
never. Oh my god, I said with her.
for sure, man.
Okay. Should we dip the next one and then you ask the questions?
Okay. Wait, which one's the next one? This one.
I'm already dipping.
I am now observing the chat.
Wow,
Whoa.
it's got eyes on it. Wait, this one now? This one?
This one.
The second
Oh.
one, yes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Second one is this.
This greenish.
That one was
yeah.
worse than the first one last time.
Okay.
The third one was the worst for you.
I'm doing a tiny one, okay, you guys? A little.
There's
That's
barely like a dot.
A little review.
That's actually nothing.
For the viewers at home,
I actually.
this is what it looks like.
Oh, just like barely a dot.
Wait, Kenny, these chips are actually really good. These chips are
Oh. Kind of
good. Yeah.
Okay, your question, Thomas.
Okay. So, Jay, you played from what I've heard, a pretty major role in the formation of both CAC 29 and Gerald's CAC 190, working with large code bases.
Right.
So I would consider that to be like a pretty unique experience, like creating your own class at, school, especially a large school at UCSD.
Right.
So sort of what was that process? What were some of the things you learned along the way, some of the challenges that you faced?
Well, I don't want to take nearly as much credit for these two classes as you seem to be suggesting. So 29 obviously came from Jesus.
Well, he's
Wait, this
doing
one was
that.
kind of
Sean, we have the mic, but just for the setup, not for live, okay?
No,
Nice
it's
joke.
not.
And
It's
then
not the
The
spiciness.
sauce is okay.
For those of you that just joined us, I'm very good with hot sauces. I just choked on some. That's why I'm coughing. So we have 11 viewers. Holy shit!
Wow.
Cynthia.
Cynthia, what's up?
3 of whom are obviously in this room.
Wait,
Yeah. So for the I suppose 8 people live watching this program,
Okay, they'll watch recorded ones, surely.
yeah, welcome.
Welcome again.
For the 10th plus time.
If you just joined us, we are eating.
Me here is asking, when are you getting tacos?
Yeah. Oh, when are we getting? Oh, yeah. I'm here. We haven't got tacos in so long. Yeah. You wanna go there next Tuesday?
Planning on a live stream
This
is
is just
crazy.
Jerry meet and greet. Like,
Wait.
this is Jerry
This
office
is Jerry
hours.
meet and greet. Yeah.
Crazy.
That's
Okay.
good.
Anyway, so what was I saying? Oh yeah. So 29 obviously came from Gerald's iteration of 30, which is it is Tuesday today. Yeah. although I think the taco shop's closed though. Yeah. So, so obviously it came from 30, which so 29 is, it didn't come out of nowhere, obviously. So it was based on an earlier version of CSE 30, which was actually based on, so for those of you that just joined us or are not from UCSD or the CSE department, CSE 30 is the class where you learn introductory C programming and some things about machine organization. So that version was actually based on the sort of like the equivalent class that I took back at UW-Madison.
Interesting.
So like in that version, a lot of the assignments were just ported over from like how I took it. Like literally the starter code for the infamous malloc and free PA, the starter code was based on my own submission all the way back in 2018. And obviously mine was not a very good submission because you know, I was new to C programming and all that was just hideously difficult. So yeah, like so we didn't just come up with the entire class out of nowhere. It came from a previous iteration of the class, which came from my personal experience and Gerald's personal experience. So I mean, Gerald actually taught the very same class at Wisconsin because he did his PhD in CS education at Wisconsin. So we like the funny thing is when I first met Gerald, I went to him from like I suppose the recommendation of Brian Chin, and then we didn't know anything about each other. But the night before I met Gerald, I looked him up on LinkedIn, you know, as all creeps do. And I was like, oh shit. Oh, you did your PhD at Wisconsin-Madison. That's where I did my undergrad. And I went to him the second day and he found out about it. I told him. And then he was very surprised and it was a good thing because he had planned to port over the Wisconsin version of the class to UCSD. And the fact that I had taken the class was a pretty good thing because then I knew what he was talking about. The syllabus that he was trying to migrate, I had literally been a student of. So that was sort of how that collaboration started. And that sort of planted the seed for what CSE 29 is nowadays. And obviously a lot of the stuff that I have done, we have done, I should say, sort of came from our experiences with various classes in Wisconsin, right? Like pretty much a lot of the PAs that I have written, perhaps with the exception of CSE 11, you know, all the C stuff came from things that I worked on in the past because it is very difficult to invent things out of thin air, right? Especially at the CSE 30 level. So yeah, I'm glad that they've kept I mean, I'm not going to claim any credit for any of the PAs because, first of all, it was not original. And even like they had mostly been, I think, at least for some of the PAs that we originally did with CSE 30, they came from, I believe, Carnegie Mellon or I believe so. They came from a CMU textbook, which the person who taught me back then took from the CMU textbook, which then I took to put into the UCSD syllabus. So yeah, that was how most of 29 came from. And I mean, in terms of 190 is, for those of you that just joined us, 190 is working with large code bases, and there's several papers out about it. It is basically this class that gives you the students the sort of actually, you're teaching it, you taught it, you guys explain it.
You're teaching, you're doing research with it, you should know more.
Okay. So yes, this is just ad break for CSE 190, working with large code bases. Yeah, so the class is essentially supposed to address this divide between what you learn in a typical CS undergrad curriculum, which is a lot of what we call in the research greenfield programming, which is where you start coding from scratch, you make your own files, your own functions, etc. Right? But when you sort of elevate to a more industry software engineering position, you're having to understand and comprehend this large code base with millions of lines of code, so many files in like a huge company, right? But a lot of students, when they get to that level, don't really understand what the process and what the sort of the steps are to be able to comprehend this large code base, essentially. So the class is intended to give students, experience with exactly that problem, and throughout the whole course, they work with the same large code base, so and sort of iterate upon it and add features, modify features, and stuff like that.
So, I mean, the idea it came from Gerald, obviously, as all things do. All things come from Gerald. So obviously, I mean, I think it's a great idea. I mean, the execution of it is something that we have to figure out. So I think something that I'm not going to claim any of the things that I say in the next 2 minutes are my original thought, because they are not. But yeah, so like my impression, because okay, I suppose because everything I do I sort of draw from my own experience, and that's pretty much the only way you can do these things. Obviously, I don't have, like, when I was in college, I never had an internship, and you might say, how? But you were the pre-pandemic generation of CS student. Shouldn't you be rolling in internships? You will be right, except for two things. Number one is that I never really bothered. And number two is that when I did bother, I didn't get them, because I have always, as I explained, like, I am not someone who is inherently very passionate about CS, right? So like doing projects on the side, that's not something that I really do.
Yeah.
Right. And doing lead code, I've always had this thing where, like, in my head, if I don't think something's worth doing, even if it is the way to get something, I'll very stubbornly refuse to do it. So like all throughout college and throughout my professional career, which, let's say it started in 2017, I have done maybe 60 lead code problems, which is, and I hope we'll talk about this later on in the podcast, and which is my view on giving and taking advice. But so like, yeah, so I never did much lead code, and even though I can say nowadays, maybe in 2025, that I consider myself to be a decent engineer, I definitely couldn't say that, much less prove that, back in the good old age of 2019, the August pre-pandemic era, where everyone was hiring. So yeah, no, like when I had interviews, I couldn't figure out, even in the initial telephone screen, I couldn't figure out some of the things that they were asking me. So like going through interviews, it was quite a struggle, and frankly, I wasn't getting many interviews. So in that sense, yes, it was difficult for me to get internships, and in fact, I didn't get internships, which is why a lot of my good friends in college, that in their third, fourth year, they landed internships at Facebook. Actually, one of my best friends in college, he's actually visiting me this weekend from this motherfucker. Sorry, this MFer. I moved to California. I moved to San Diego in 2021, at the beginning of 2021, and then he moved to the Bay Area several months after that. 4 years, he has never visited me once. It is an hour and a half flight away, right? This guy works at Meta, making presumably how many?
At least
I don't know.
3K.
At least
Like,
what?
no,
3K?
300K, sorry.
Maybe not 300, it has been 4 years. 200-300K, let's just say. I think that's a conservative goal after, he's a senior engineer now. This person my best friend has not. Oh no, yeah. Has not, every time I have to be the one to go up to the Bay Area. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you just joined the podcast, don't be that friend. If you can afford a flight ticket to San Diego, of all places, go to frickin' San Diego and
Not
visit
to
your
the
friend.
meta.
Yes. Must be the message. Yes, actually, yeah, no, the meta work-life balance is something.
Work-life balance, yes.
But anyway, where was I? So yeah, I didn't get any internship. So obviously, when I was in college, all these people, they were doing fancy projects. They were doing hackathons. I despise the idea of hackathons, and yeah, I'll talk about my defense mechanisms later on. But I hate the idea of hackathons. The fact that you go somewhere and then you, I guess more often than not, don't sleep,
Yeah.
and then you make something that wins you a Google Home Mini. That is just fundamentally unappealing to my 20-year-old mind, who valued above all else comfort, sleep, and warmth, and a firm but not rock hard mattress.
So valid, actually.
Right?
Yes.
So like, why would I go to a hackathon? So obviously, just by my sheer stubbornness and my personal, I didn't really do a lot of the, I guess what you would say, canonically correct things that you're supposed to do in college. And that's a point that I hope we'll come to later on in the podcast. So I didn't do a lot of that. I did research, which went nowhere. I spent a summer writing C code, which didn't in any way further the frontiers of human knowledge. So yeah, college just went by like that. In the end, I figured out how to do some things. I didn't know how to do the majority of things. And then towards the end, I was like, okay, do I either go to grad school or I try to find myself a job? And because it was COVID, I decided I'm not going to go to grad school because this won't be any fun. So my friend referred me to this small company in San Diego, for which I interviewed in my last summer of college. So that will be the summer of my junior year. And I got the job because, it's much easier to interview with a smaller company and you can sort of get away with things like my lack of lead code expertise, I do in a sense. So I got that job. Didn't pay well at all. Does any of you want to take a guess? San Diego tech company.
Like per hour or like salary?
No,
Like
salary,
yearly
yeah.
salary.
Salary.
100K.
would say
Like
like
around
110.
20.
110?
Oh wait, yearly.
Well, it's not high.
70,
Yeah,
wait.
yeah.
Yearly, right?
Yearly, annual salary. Right.
40.
There's no way
Like-
it's 40.
No way, it's 40.
Well, it was
Like-
above minimum wage. No, I mean, this
Okay,
is
like around 70.
this
I
is a
think.
salary that I was able to
I
live
just feel like
fairly
that's
comfortably on.
Like
So
I
what is
might
that?
not get 60.
70?
60, 70.
Yeah, no, I was offered 65. I talked them up to 67, which, yeah, it's not a lot of money. And but I just sort of took it because I didn't really know what to do. My friends are off at Meta, then called Facebook, obviously. And then some of them went to Microsoft, some of them went to Google, some of them went to grad school. I was the one, but hey, I was the first one to start working. And I made $67,000 a year, which is by no means not enough, right? I lived very comfortably on that money. I was living with a roommate on Nobel Drive back then, and it was okay. Yeah, like it was decent money for me at that age. But obviously, in the context of what this industry is, and I'm not in any sense expressing any, discontent about the whole situation. It wasn't a lot of money for industry standards for a startup, for a tech startup. So, but I was making that money. But the point is, that job, working that job, gave me a lot of experience with how the whole world actually works. Which is outside of the classroom, outside of assignments, outside of worksheets, outside of exams. There's a whole world of how do you actually do engineering. How do you actually interact with engineers, many of whom are very difficult to interact with? Just how to sort of be independent in sort of figuring out what to do. But also, admittedly, things in the industry weren't nearly as difficult as things in university. You know, like you take OS, you take, God forbid, algorithms, because holy shit, I would not have survived that if our exams weren't cancelled because of COVID.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, like I don't know what glamorous misconceptions people have about my skill set, but it is not by any means extensive nor advanced. Yeah, like especially right out of college. I think most people will learn the most out there. What the fuck is going on?
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, fuck off, Adrian. Yeah, no, so like pretty much most things I learned in that job, right? A lot of things. And then that sort of gave me more context when I eventually came back for a master's. And when I sat in the classroom and listened to people talk about this, talk about that, it made a lot more sense.
Mhm.
So yeah. So like that, but all of that eventually fed into what would become 190, or like my small contribution to it, like what I thought I had learned during my job, which wasn't very long. I only worked for like a year and 4 months, I think. But I did learn a lot through that time. Something about a small company is that you get to do a lot of different things. You have a lot of visibility into the whole operation of a company like that. So there was a lot of learning to do. Yeah, so like I put a lot of that into 190. I suggested a lot of those things that I personally struggled with, that I learned to do, and I put that into 190. And then obviously the other people contributed a lot as well. I'm not going to sit here and suggest that I was the sole contributor, not by a long shot. So yeah, some of what I knew, or what I thought I knew, which have since been updated. You know, some of the things that I might have said in 190 now with additional experience, I don't necessarily think is true, or at least is the sole truth anymore, right? So things change, and thinking back, I question my qualification for sitting there and making a 190 to be espousing this information to unsuspecting undergrads, who a lot of whom probably had more industry experience than I did.
Some of them could be our viewers right now.
Some
taking
of
this
them,
class.
some of them could be in the audience right now.
Kenny.
Kenny, you called them out.
So yeah, but that's how 190 happened.
Let's see. Hot sauce number 3.
Yes.
Okay. Sure.
So for the viewers at home, this is our platter. We've gone through number 1, which was underwhelming. Number 2, which I don't remember.
Okay.
We're moving on to number 3.
But did you
Yes.
dunk it?
Of course I did.
Are you dunking it?
Of course, look at
They
this.
can't see that.
For those of you at home, question my integrity when it comes to hot sauce, I will scoop up this.
That's
Look
it.
at
That's it.
Oh,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
that's
That's quite a lot. That's quite
Don't
a
let
lot.
the sauce go to waste, bro. Dunk it. Just lick it.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Ready?
Prost.
Toast.
That is not spicy.
Oh, good.
Nothing.
You sound hella nervous.
That's like tomato sauce.
It may as well have been soy
That's
sauce.
what it was dying last time.
On this one? That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Should we also do the next sauce since it's
Yeah,
like-
why not?
Don't be- okay, sure. Okay. I think
Next sauce is this vaguely excremental beige one.
For the viewers at home.
No, it's not beige. The beige was the first one.
Yeah, sorry, brown.
that's it.
God, Ria, look at this.
I have no idea.
Look at mine. What is that?
Cheers to the viewers at home.
What is yours?
Like, okay.
I'm the only one who actually ducked it, and then Jerry. And
Wait, at the end we should just took it.
I want you to.
I think. Oh, tastes like nothing.
Why were you dying the last time, bro? Why are you exposing?
Okay,
Okay,
next question.
next question.
Yes.
So you sort of talked about like the transition from undergrad to working at a small company
Yeah.
and then going to masters, right?
Mhm.
And now for those of you who don't know, he's working at Qualcomm. So I gotta talk about the transition from masters back into industry. And how did that process go and how is working at Qualcomm right now?
Yeah. Obviously, when you're in university, when you're in undergrad, when you're in masters, your schedule is very sort of all over the place.
Mhm.
And to go back to industry is to sort of embrace a little bit of routine again, which I appreciate, But I have this sort of thing where when I'm at university, I always think, God, what I wouldn't give to have a stable 9 to 5 where I can have all the weekend time to myself to, actually clean up my apartment and go out. But then when I'm actually out, I'm like, oh God, I don't want to be stuck in a cubicle all day, 9 to 5. I wish I could be roaming about campus, taking classes, going from this building to the next, And sometimes, and I know this might sound like, I don't know, humble bragging, but I run out of things to do on weekends. There's only so much laundry to do, and there's only so many walks I can go on. And I don't want to eat out every meal. So, and as I said, I don't go to parties. So obviously, what do I do? So there's that transition. But on the other hand, it is nice to have disposable income again. So yeah, that's pros and cons. I mean, you can't be in university forever, obviously.
She got scared.
I'll be here for a while.
Most people.
Most people is crazy.
I mean, obviously, you have the tenacity and.
I don't know what that is, but thank you.
It could be a bad thing.
Oh, you're right. Okay, should we? I feel my lip like on this side, like it's like tingling. No one else?
You want a blank chip?
Oh yeah, so much. Here. Okay, close up, please.
Close.
So for viewers who enjoy the actual Hot Ones program on YouTube, this is supposed to be the hottest one.
Wait,
Although
Of the first
the
5.
bomb,
of the
right?
first 5.
Wait, this is
That's
the bomb?
not the bomb.
Wait, it's not.
No,
Which
it's
one
not
is the bomb? Which one is this though?
If this is the bomb, I'm dying.
Not
No,
that. This
the
one is
bomb-
just level 5 of 10.
Okay.
Which
I
was the
believe.
bomb?
Yeah.
Right?
Was it 7?
I have to say, a lot of these have been hit or miss.
The bomb is
4,
8.
5, 6, 7,
Oh,
8.
8.
Yeah.
8.
But
But how
don't
did we have the bomb in your hand?
Because yours only did 5, right?
Yeah, but what order did you do?
I don't know. Don't
I'm
get
crazy
though.
going on.
Wait,
bro.
Where's Thomas?
Wait, this is
That
my
at all,
plate. This
he
is my
said.
plate.
That is
Not
not
his plate.
No. That was supposed to be yours.
Alright, fuck
Can
it.
I get an L in the chat for
That wasn't your plate, actually. Actually, that's your plate.
Yeah, wait, this is your plate. What is going on?
Oh, this one tastes interesting.
I
It's
gotta
slightly,
try.
Wait, he's actually dunked it, guys.
it's slightly purple.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Host.
It was nice knowing you.
Oh, this one's good.
Mm. Voila.
Not funny.
Audrey's good.
You can spend your Wednesdays on
Did you read the
educating
chat?
yourself on that.
Did
You should read the chat.
What's
It's for you.
What's Italian brain rot?
Is that like Mario and shit? Or
I don't know.
being
That's
interesting?
spicy.
That's all right.
That one's good.
I like that one.
Okay.
I like how it lingers.
Next question, and I'll be setting up the other 5 sauces.
Okay.
Okay.
Careful, please.
I mean, as I'll ask the question for you then. So we heard that you interviewed for a newspaper thing in Wisconsin.
Oh,
So tell us about that, and if you're willing, share it, like show it to us.
a newspaper thing in Wisconsin.
That's what I heard.
Oh, Channel 3000. Yeah.
Channel
3,000. What is that?
Whoa.
That was so curious.
3,000.
No, yeah, that was just Madison's local TV station. And that was shortly after I moved to San Diego, and one day I was working.
Why are you hanging on?
One day I was at work, and suddenly on LinkedIn I get this ping from my ex-advisor, who's now the director of the computing school at Madison. Two flags. No, not really. So he was like, yeah, we have an interview who wants to talk to us about the CS department situation, like, and the growing number of CS enrollment, the growing interest in the CS field. So we have this reporter in, and she wants to talk to a student. So I thought of you. Are you interested? I was like, yeah, sure. Why the fuck not? So they set up the interview. I talked to this reporter over Zoom for like 30 minutes, and obviously in the end they only used about 3 seconds of it. Such is the way of journalism.
Wow.
So for the viewers watching this in the future, not in the live stream, you might only see 20 minutes of this.
We're not going to.
This is really live.
This is literally live and not going to be edited.
So yeah, that was that. That was literally deadly uninteresting.
Mm,
Like, you can probably find the clip on Channel 3.
Interesting.
Should pull it up.
Yeah.
We want to see it, but it's okay. You can text me later.
Do you have any funny or like memorable teaching stories that you would care to share?
Nope.
None at
None?
all.
Nothing really stands out, honestly.
Nothing funny.
Funny? I was the funny one.
I can see that. Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's true. I can-
Also, I remember people think you're like from Europe, like. Wait, no, this is not no cancel. We just not Italian.
Yeah, no, let's not talk about that.
I remember also. Okay, for context, there's like different TAs, right? So you guys like switch off for different discussions and stuff.
Yeah.
And my discussion, you weren't the TA like leading it, but I heard about you and like your accent and like the hype you got, so that you were like doing the discussion or something like that. But then I was like, oh, this is the man, and you came with like a couple of like tea or something, and I was like, this is true. He's
Really?
Wait, I
He's
have
European.
stuff that he can talk about. I have stuff to tell you about. First
Crowdsourcing.
of all, the grains of rice analogy.
Oh.
Did you ask him about that?
No.
No.
Did he tell you about the time he choked in the beginning of discussion?
What?
Did I?
Yes.
Does he know about these?
Does he know what you remember about him?
Wait, I choked in the beginning of a
Did he
discussion.
tell you about the time he gave out all the Chinese cookies?
Oh,
in
yes,
the
yes.
previous discussion and didn't leave us any?
Yeah. One time, I think it was Chinese New Year. My roommate went to the like Ranch 99, which is like the Asian supermarket, and he bought a bunch of these like cookies, crackers thing that I used to eat growing up, and it was a giant packet, and there was a lot of small packets, right? So at some point I was like, okay, in the discussion I went, okay, it's Chinese New Year, supposedly, so let's give out some free snacks, and then I went overzealous in.
Great.
You should make him tell you and show you the podcast of the discussion where he dressed up as a Bay Area kid.
Oh yeah, that was classic.
Do you have pictures?
You
was
have
like
it
I'd have
right
to
now?
pull up I'd have to pull up the
And,
podcast.
went to interview people and
Oh
the
yeah,
discussion.
yeah.
What else?
What else? I think those were the main ones.
Did you tell them about the Jerry and Jerry fan club?
Yes. Oh wait.
Oh.
Are we
Actually, do you
allowed
want
say
to-
that?
No,
Do you
I
want-
should be the host, honestly.
But Jerry doesn't remember these things.
Jerry doesn't remember more than half of the things
No,
he
no, no.
mentioned.
I don't remember the one thing where I choked before the discussion. What was that?
What are you doing, Anya? You want to?
Okay.
You don't even dunk and you're putting so much.
Oh,
Okay, let's dunk
No,
and
but-
then
But what about the drawings of like Jerry Cat or like all the drawings on the boards, like during his office hours?
I guess we won't be able to show that now because
The
we don't have a.
emojis in the server, the Jerry and Jerry fan club.
Yeah.
Jerry sunglasses.
Yeah, I used that as my profile picture for like multiple years.
You should know about the profile picture.
What is the order?
Place
Like this
that
way?
it looks like now.
You don't know the order.
Yeah. I used to have this.
No. It's the red one and then this one.
This way.
Yeah.
Are
Okay.
people still watching this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Someone asked
Why?
if
Why
it's-
are you?
I'm just surprised.
It is Alma.
That's crazy.
For the chat, someone asked it, yo, is that Alma?
You just talked to her again for the second time.
No, I'm reading the chat.
I know, but you just.
It's already been done.
Oh, wait, that's Harsha.
Yeah.
Okay,
Literally,
guys.
Literally, his
Okay.
name is in-
I know. Yeah, yeah,
Back
yeah.
up, back. Okay,
Okay,
let's
back to the.
from like
So
the
it's
red.
Yeah, it's the red one. Right
Like the
there. They're
red
all
is
red.
And then
No,
this
the
one, and then
pointing
this
at
one.
me.
Yes,
And then it goes
that
that
way.
For the viewers at home, we are now moving on to all red platters.
But Duncan,
All
man.
red platter.
Duncan.
You need to dunk it.
Anybody die yet? So.
Yeah, no, this is
Okay.
not.
Is the bomb in here somewhere?
The
Yes.
bomb is in here.
It's the
Okay.
chunkiest one. The one
The
that
one
literally
over
smells
there.
like chemical.
Okay, so
Literally,
we start with
those
this.
don't taste good at all, so I don't like it. But
Okay, I do
Okay.
wanna wait. Sorry, what's my-
let's move on to personal ones.
Okay, I just want to say that 7 people are watching now. Last time I checked, it was 9.
I know.
It is
Very
dropping.
It is dropping.
People are
It's
going
their
to sleep.
bedtime. It's their bedtime.
It's almost right. We can wrap it up soon. Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
go to the
I'm
personal
old.
Or
question.
be more interesting.
Yeah, we should be more interesting.
Wow.
Wow.
It's the all mug show now.
It's the Alma.
Chip
Alma
six.
just took over.
Chip 6.
I've actually looked at you.
Chill. bro.
You asked for it.
You know how in
Okay,
all the famous talk shows like Conan O'Brien and Jimmy Kimmel, there's always this off-screen sidekick.
Mhm.
Good job.
I don't know that.
Yeah, no, check out Conan O'Brien.
Wait, there's an off-screen psychic?
Or just someone who's off the side and would occasionally come in with like a quip, like a quick
Like
joke.
the funny one.
Like the
Funny.
like who's the one for Conan O'Brien? Is Andy Richter? I think Andy
No
Richter.
clue.
Does anyone watch Conan O'Brien?
To be honest, no.
I don't want any song.
I think it's just you, Jerry.
Okay, let's move on to the second one as well.
Damn.
It's the most.
You gotta do this,
It's
no?
very watery, you guys. Look at this.
And you spilled some.
These are drinking through a straw.
Wait, these are not
Yeah.
even that spicy yet.
Okay,
Just
wait for the
these,
bomb.
I'm
I am
scared.
not
I'm
even
scared for
kidding.
you. I'm
Respond
scared
to
for you.
Harsha's stuff.
Ew, this is nothing. It's a chemical.
Okay, wait. Should we
Oh,
move
hello.
on to the questions now?
Nothing spicy.
That's got a kick. Yeah.
This is nasty.
I do actually need to pick my nose now, or at least blow my nose. Does anyone have a tissue?
I do.
I might have one.
No, we have
We
to.
have to.
What did you say? I wasn't.
I might need to
I
pick.
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I
Honestly,
just need to do this.
you just said your name.
Almost.
You just said your name, but don't worry about it.
He wanted his nose bit.
I will pass and
I know. Oh, that one has a kick. Holy shit.
That one does.
Okay, so should we move on to the bomb?
Yes.
Yo,
You
chill. Yo, chill.
You didn't ask the question. You're wording the questions, Audria.
We're keeping him. It's like, okay. Which question?
The the first one.
Oh, mother.
Wait, where's your milk?
You
I
forgot
didn't
it.
bring my milk. For those of you that just joined us, we're doing hot sauce, like hot ones.
And it's finally hitting him.
This one's getting old. I'm not gonna lie.
You're not gonna like the bomb.
You're not gonna like the
Bro, I'm
other ones.
scared.
You think that one is bad?
That one
I
was like.
have had the bomb before.
Oh, have you?
Or-
Yeah.
Okay, but I want you to like.
Audria,
Yeah.
let's do
Okay.
the question first.
I'm gonna skip
Let
to.
me just get my health insurance card out in case I need it later on. Yeah.
Sure.
You don't
Okay.
need to know that.
Tell us about the last time you made vegetable soup and decided to add tomatoes, but you had no tomatoes. I don't know what this has to do.
Genuinely, when I grew up, ketchup is more than a condiment, okay? Like you could put it as an ingredient in stews or soups. That's just the way I grew up. So one time I was trying to make a nice, what do you call it? Give me that. One time I was trying to make this nice vegetable minestrone.
Here,
Mm.
you can have your water bottle if you want. Okay.
I'll do the. Is it okay if I just?
Yeah.
I'm gonna wet myself.
What yourself?
So basically, one time I was trying to cook this delightful vegetable minestrone, which I've had at an Italian restaurant, and obviously, Italian food, there's a lot of tomatoes,
Mm.
and which I had run out of. So what is a natural substitute? Well, ketchup. So I took the ketchup. I took the bottle of ketchup, undid the top, and just went. And that was it. It was good soup.
That's good.
That was good soup. What are you talking about?
Okay.
You led into the next question, which should be the first one I listed in the personal
Oh,
one.
the first one.
The first one.
So there's been questions, and apparently a lot of different stories about, where did you learn English, and where does accent come from?
It's,
So we're
it's
trying to
one
get to
of
the truth.
It's one
Jerry.
of my many defense mechanisms,
Uh-huh.
and perhaps today I will finally share. So when I first came to America, and obviously my English was not very good.
Mhm.
So what I had decided to do, because obviously back then I had presumably more of my native accent, but I have been watching a lot of. I mean, I guess it always skewed towards what it is now. So when I first went to Madison, obviously being tossed into America in the middle of the Midwest, it was. I didn't want people to think I'm a dumbass, basically,
Mm.
by making mistakes. So one defense mechanism was to just put on a fake accent. That is, like, put on a fake English accent, so that when I say something stupid, people won't think, "Oh, this guy doesn't know how to speak English." They'll just, "Oh, that's an English expression."
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, it makes me sound smarter than I really am, which proved effective over the past 8 years.
Mm.
And also, I mean, the thing with learning a second language is that you are much more easily influenced by the media that you consume. So, like, I grew up watching. I did have like an English teacher in the UK when I was growing up, and he sort of introduced me to all of these like old British sitcoms from like the 70s, 80s, and obviously the things that you would have heard of, like Mr. Bean, which obviously didn't have dialogue. But I don't know if you've heard of Blackadder, which is also Rowan Atkinson, and a lot of other stuff. There's this crazy show called Little Britain, which if you haven't seen it, look it up. It's crazy. And obviously things like Monty Python.
Mm.
So I sort of that sort of became like in my subconscious, my vocabulary bank, the way I speak, the way I pronounce certain things. I'm sure if I actually went to Europe, no one would think in the least that I'm supposedly from the UK. They'll just be like, "Oi, this dickhead's got a weird accent." So yeah, but then again, that might just be one of the very many stories that I tell.
The bomb.
Sure, why not?
Right.
But this one, like, actually don't get it. Like,
Yeah.
Thomas.
What? What?
Why are you?
for context. Okay.
The teacher is sharing a
For
book.
context,
Mine
she's
still
the
has
one who
less.
only has like a tiny dot on her chip.
For the viewers at home, this is called a bomb.
Can you give a review of the smell first?
Oh yeah, smell it, guys. Smell it.
Smells like
It's-
death.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
Calm down. We don't have
Bad.
insurance.
Bad.
It smells like chemical.
Yeah, it smells very chemical.
Okay, actually dunk it, y'all.
Yes, Audrey, please.
I'm going to regret this tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm gonna regret
That's
this
it?
today.
That's it?
On the other side.
Pretend
On the other
it's
side.
ketchup.
Pretend that. Look at the other side. On your
Did you say
ticket.
W's ketchup? That's crazy.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay, for the viewers at home who have known me and it would be my privilege to say, liked me, you're about to witness my end.
Damn.
All right. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers, guys. I can't do it.
Oh,
Remember, I kicks it later.
it kicks in. Ew, it's not even like tasty.
I just don't like the taste, bro.
Okay, just gonna eat a lot of chips now.
That one is bad.
I always hate the taste of the last ones.
I can feel my sinuses.
Okay, let's go.
Oh.
Can you talk? The air
For the viewers at home,
Yes, it does.
all my orifices are on fire.
I can give you boba if you want. If you want. That's really bad.
Wait, that one's really bad.
Oh.
It is known as the bomb for a reason. Oh my god.
give
Yes, Thomas, we know you go to the gym.
Wait, I'm not doing that.
Wait, okay,
So-
Jerry, let's give you a tough question.
Sure.
That way we get more air in. More reactive. Okay,
If you want.
I might.
One second.
Okay. Since you lived on the east and west coast.
I didn't live on the east.
Well, not east, like I guess more mid. Like with Wisconsin.
Midwest.
Yeah,
Mid.
Midwest. It's like west, mid, east. Okay.
Can we get a close up?
Close up is cool. Who's asking for that?
No, me.
No one's asking.
I'm sorry, our host is asking for him, but you don't have to. It's here for you. Okay. But you have traveled to the East Coast, right? On your trip.
Yeah.
So I guess in terms of like living there, would you prefer west, mid, or east coast?
West Coast for now, I think. I have this tendency to not want to move as soon as I settled in a place for more than like 3 months. When I was in Madison, I was what? I'm just thinking about the good times in Madison. and I'm
Wait,
tired.
you're at a break. Show the good
Oh my god.
Oh. So when I was in Madison, I was like, why would I ever leave Madison? This is such a beautiful place. And obviously now that I live in San Diego, I'm thinking, why would I ever leave San Diego? It's such a beautiful place. So I'm like that. I go to a place, I settle in, have my own place, have my own way of life, and I never want to leave again. Yeah, so for now, definitely West Coast. In fact, definitely precisely where I am right now, because this is a situation that I appreciate. I mean, some of my friends, they're like, oh, you know what? I think I'll go live in New York for a month, or for a year, or then I'll go live in Texas for a year. I can't do that. I like being in one place, you know, having my own apartment, my own bed, my own car, my own bookshelf. You know, I think I've always sort of chased, perhaps fruitlessly, after stability. You know, the thing that I value most in life is. This is a sad.
So sad.
Such a sad.
Reminiscing on the past.
Here you go. Take another bite. With the
I don't think.
Oh my god.
No.
Wait, that one is bad, man.
Yes.
Dang, that one
I
is
just
bad.
really, yeah, no, stability is something that I've always. Some people tell me that I'm in my 20s. I shouldn't be chasing after stability. I should be adventurous, but
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like stability.
I get that.
I like being in one place. You know, going to the same places.
Mhm.
Oh my god.
You can have as much as you want. I have water. I don't think we have two
Why do I ever sign up for
The
this?
different reactions is crazy. We have one crying, one just eating chips.
It's good. Just take it one more time.
What? Are you actually?
She
No, you're
barely
crazy.
dipped it, bro.
You're crazy.
Oh yeah. San Diego for the time being, and for hopefully for the foreseeable future.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you like get any new hobbies when you moved to San Diego?
Nope.
No.
I lost a few hobbies,
Oh yeah. Which
Like
one?
what?
like going onto a frozen lake.
Mm.
Also, my piano broke, so I haven't been playing the piano as much,
Mm.
which is something I do when I'm bored. Not that I'm any good at it. Yeah.
Okay. Next question. But let's move on to the next sauce.
I think
We have two more. We have two more. We have two more.
No,
we have
we
two
don't.
more.
You got to see it through. You got to see it through.
Look, we're back at 10 people watching.
right.
You
Okay.
guys missed it. He was crying.
The hot sauce made me cry.
He cried.
Yeah.
And she's just been eating chips.
I bought the chips. I have a right.
No, you have
Are
the
my,
right. I'm
are
just
my
saying
eyes
it
red?
Yeah,
Are they
Yes.
bloodshot?
I'm not close enough to
Jerry.
Take a picture. Take a close up.
Take a close up is crazy. I'm not
Wait,
gonna
it's
go
no
that
longer
close
red.
up.
Dip
Oh
it
my
again.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Why do I put myself
What
through?
happened to your spice sauce?
Do you want to try?
We were actually told you're good at this, which is why.
I could, but I don't have a high spice tolerance.
Okay, come in.
Come in is crazy.
Okay, you should try the bomb.
Yeah, try
That's the
bomb.
only one
For
you
one
need to
time.
try.
A tiny bit. How about a tiny?
No,
Actually,
donkey.
Like, if you're gonna try it, might as
Anyway,
well.
let's move on.
Okay.
We can do it after the show.
Sauce number 9.
Okay, I second that after.
Yes.
I have actually dunked
Hey, bro,
my
chill.
entire, almost my entire shape, just
Wait,
the whole
oh,
entire.
Did you have no reaction to the bomb? Like at all? Like the S?
I feel it, but I haven't cried. Or I haven't been.
For those
Harsha
of
wants
you
to
that
try
just
it.
joined us, I haven't cried this much since the last time I watched the movie Cinema Paradiso,
Jerry, the
which
thing
you
is,
should watch.
she loves to watch people cry. So this is
What a
perfect
sadist.
content.
She loves to watch people cry and matchmake.
Matchmaking is crazy.
That is true.
I like
Okay.
it.
All right,
Ready?
sauce number 9. Cheers.
Very spicy.
Oh, mother.
Oh, you are.
Also
That was
bad.
so spicy. That was so spicy.
You didn't even eat it, Andrea.
Oh, did you ask not?
Right here.
No,
No,
I'm
she
not.
didn't even fragments
Wait,
right here.
Log in,
She
bro.
ate the part that wasn't
I'm not getting
covered.
scammed.
This is a scam, bro.
I'm not getting scammed.
Okay, Jerry, back to you. So, it is true. We made a whole group chat because you had fans. Oh, when you found out, like, how did you find out about this group chat?
I don't remember. It was so long ago.
Me neither. I just remember it was called the Jerry's group. with the
Jerry fan
Jerrys.
club.
Yeah.
I
I don't know what it was called actually.
So I don't know. And this might sound, and those of you who actually know me might think the opposite, but I want to say that I never liked self-promotion, which means, I'm not very good at being my own advocate sometimes. And obviously those that know me very well can obviously call bullshit on that and say that in fact I am an egomaniac
who's full of himself. That might very well be true. I think other people always know you better than you know yourself sometimes. But yeah, no, I don't. I don't know what I think about it.
This is all yours,
I question if I'm thinking at all.
Perfect. Okay,
You
next.
should do the last thing. No, not last thing. not until you try sauce 9.
Andrea, she is still not eaten sauce 9, guys.
Why?
It is right here in the plate.
Hey, this is about Jerry.
Wait, let's start the last thing.
Sure.
Yes, the push your rebase.
Do you want to explain it?
Do you want to explain it? Because
All right, Jane. So, Jerry, why are we laughing? Why are you laughing?
I'm about to throw up.
You didn't even try it.
Focus on Jerry.
Okay, Jerry. So we're gonna play a game. Okay,
oh my god. Okay.
it's called Push or Rebase. Okay, Push or Rebase. The concept is we're going to give a concept or a topic, and if you support the concept slash topic, you say push. If you don't support it, you say rebase. Okay, and you only get like a 1-sentence justification after each. Does that make sense?
No.
Does that make sense?
Your ChatGPT is not good.
My neurons. For those of you at home, neurons are no longer passing through my. What am I trying to say? Sorry.
The neurons are not connected.
Electrons are no longer flowing through my neurons. Hot sauces. So
Okay,
I'm
it's
afraid
like
I'm not thinking
saying-
very well.
It's like saying, "Oh no, my laptop died." It's like saying, "Oh, my laptop died." It's like saying hot sauce, rebase, tomato sauce. Push. I'm sorry, I keep going back.
Is it just yes or no, or
Essentially,
Yes.
It's
But-
like
Push is like yeah. Rebase is like no.
can I just say yes or no? Because
Sure.
I'm
Sure.
not going to remember
Sure.
push or rebase,
Sure.
and it doesn't make sense. It's merge or rebase, isn't it?
And this is what ChatGPT said. All right.
ChatGPT can
This is-
screw off.
okay.
Thomas, you
So
did
good.
not. You did not click with ChatGPT.
Yeah, all right, let's go.
Okay.
The first one is peer code reviews in CSE 190. It's a new addition we've made this quarter.
Yes, in moderation.
Okay.
Mm.
Why?
Yeah.
Like
Yes or no?
No. One
No,
sentence.
explain why.
Well,
Right.
because at some point, I'm not forming coherent thoughts in my brain at the moment for the viewers at home.
That's great.
Drink all of it.
I mean, I just think, there's not that much to review. So, like, I don't know, it's up to you. You're the one running the class. Don't ask me.
Okay, cool.
Next one.
Okay. Teaching prompt engineering.
No.
Hmm.
Cool.
Okay.
Take a class in English instead.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Scrum or Agile. So like,
No, I have no fucking clue what those are.
so essentially, meetings like stand-ups or quick updates, and reflection. Sometimes like some companies tend to use Agile processes, and like for 110 at UCSD, Agile is like
Can I just say,
basically
it's never strictly one of the two. It's always some combination of the two, and I don't know. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
but you can ask me another one. Sorry, I shut,
Team meetings.
shut that question down. I didn't
Yeah,
mean to
okay.
be rude, but you can ask me another one.
Team meetings.
What about them?
Like, I don't know, like,
You're asking me like
in
lunch.
companies.
What am I supposed to say? Breakfast. I mean, breakfast. Some people do debate about that, but I mean,
Breakfast.
nobody skips
Okay.
lunch.
It's not about skipping. It's more of like, do you think they should have it like in companies, right? Like typically.
Oh yeah, of course,
Yeah.
of course. But I mean,
Or to like what level?
to
Because-
what level? To the level where I think that at least people in the meeting know roughly what every other person is working on.
Mm.
Then it's a productive team meeting. Because what sometimes happens is you have a team meeting with 20, 30 people, and then you have a part where you give your updates, you ask your questions, and then for like maybe 70% of the other people that are talking, you don't know what they're talking about. You don't know what they're working on. So you're just sitting there twiddling your thumbs, at which point it's not productive. So I think if that's the case, then that's the point where I would say a team meeting has gotten too large and it should be broken down. Or like, yeah. Because the point of the team meeting most of the time is for, and that's because it's for the, I just remember that it's supposed to be one sentence. It's really,
okay. A lot of
it's
comments.
really supposed to be for like the team leaders to figure out what everyone's doing. But then if it gets to a point where it's not very productive for the rest of the team or the majority of the team for the majority of the time, then consider shrinking it or breaking it down into multiple smaller meetings. But I have only been working for less than 5 years, so my opinion is worthless.
I'm not like that stuff.
Okay. Company-wide social / networking events.
Small company, yes. Big company, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, should we do this last time?
I already did.
What? Why?
Because she didn't do 9.
Skips 9.
She just skipped 9 because she knows.
I was enjoying the chip and I forgot I dipped it and I was like,
Oh my God.
okay, go ahead, go
Can I
ahead.
have more tissue, please?
You know.
It's
All
bad.
right, let's do that.
It's really bad.
Wait, I've already done 10.
What is going
I
on?
just subconsciously did it.
Oh my
Oh my
god.
God.
Elena just told me that I was right about you having really expressive face expressions and that you can't.
I'm
unsee
side-eyeing.
it.
I'm side-eyeing you. I'm side-eyeing you.
Who?
Thomas has.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
You can watch the recording and see.
Ready? Set, go.
Look at how much I got, guys. What did I get so much?
That's
Yours. Show yours.
That's it.
Show yours.
You have an empty chip, bro.
Okay,
Oh
let's
my
be
God,
honest.
I
I have the
Here's to-
most.
here's
out
to
of
the
this
viewers at
entire
home.
Group here, guys.
I will be taking no slander.
Thomas has the second
I'll
most
be taking
amount.
no slander.
I have the first most.
Thomas has the second most amount.
All right, let's go.
This is bad. Almost as bad as the bomb.
I am numb after the bomb.
This one's not good.
Okay, I have one question.
Yep.
The title of this video is, what was it? I didn't know I was hot. Can you please
Yeah.
explain?
What is
I
there
don't
to
know.
explain?
Like context.
Context? Well, you see, in college, I was this very insecure person. I'm joking. I was just fucking with him earlier before the podcast
So
started.
you're still this very insecure.
I'm still this very insecure person. In fact, I had come today thinking that we would talk about something deep, like insecurities and you know.
We're waiting for all 10 odds.
I was
No,
insecure by the
I
seventh
need
one.
all of us to cry and then we.
Actually, I'm not crying.
I can start.
To cry? I have already cried, so you.
He is already, but he's started already.
Beat me to it.
Yeah, I beat you to it. I cried like buckets and buckets and
Elena
buckets.
says that she's glad she contributed to the podcast.
Thank you for adding the chats. The chat was popping today.
It was.
I'm sorry I finished your
It's
program.
okay. You're good.
In the hot
Sounds like you're about to
Stop.
take a shot of
Stop.
in the hot one.
Stop. We're not doing the last time.
The last time.
Stop.
I'll do it when I come back next time.
No. What if there is no next time?
That is up to you and my talent agent.
No, I mean like no.
I might get fired after this.
Okay, I think we should close
Professor
it off.
Patel is too strong.
Who said that?
It's because she didn't dunk
everybody.
at all.
I was the one who had the most on my chips,
Wait, you
okay?
actually don't feel anything?
I feel it in my tongue, but
I think she's a cyborg.
You're
Okay.
just a stoic.
Okay,
I grew up in Spice, guys. I grew up in a Spice household.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't start eating spicy food till really like when I was in college.
I'm not doing that though.
Why? It's the
She
She
bomb.
wants us to die.
That's not what the last step is.
It's not?
You don't even have chicken wings.
Exactly.
If it was chicken wings,
I told you you should have eaten like that.
Can I be honest with you guys? I ate chicken wings before because I knew we weren't gonna eat
I had
chicken.
chicken wings for lunch.
So my mind
You
is
got it
like,
for lunch, and I said you should have this for
Oh.
dinner.
so I could trick my mind or my stomach to think that
Kenny, this shit is bad, bro. I don't know how she's hiding the spicy pain.
Who?
Okay.
That's what Kenny said.
Are you gonna take a swig?
Me?
No, we're all gonna do
How I'm
this
hiding
one.
this? What do you mean? Please.
You didn't have none.
Yes, I didn't have it. Okay, you guys.
Okay, before this devolves into
Before-
chaos, what's the last thing we should talk about?
The deep stuff.
Yeah, so how are you doing? Like, how are you really doing?
How are you really doing?
Let me feed you.
I'm okay.
Video is crazy.
Do you want
Wait, no, you don't have to.
So how are you really doing in life?
You don't have to, Jerry.
You're right.
I mean,
I'll do it with you. I'll do it with you. I'll do it with you.
You're gonna.
He still hasn't eaten the one that she originally dunked, guys.
Okay, okay. It's breaking on me. It's not my fault.
That's your excuse.
Okay. I'll eat number 9 and the ball.
Kushi,
Here.
I didn't know you were a Fremen.
that's a
what,
Dune
That's what
reference.
Elena said because you said you grew up in spice.
Have you read Dune?
Have you watched Dune?
Yes, but I didn't get the original reference when you just
Okay,
said that.
it's fine.
But yes.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so how are you really doing? Well, yeah, you don't have to. I don't want to get
I
food.
mean, yeah,
So, yeah,
I'm
you don't have
okay. I'm okay. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things happening this year, and I'm, sort of waiting for a couple of things to fall into place. Yeah, but I mean, my own life has been pretty okay. Yeah, like
That's good.
trying to reposition myself into this full-time thing after college, because and I don't know, I've been doing a lot of thinking about this stuff and that because I have so much free time on my hands, which not a brag. I know a lot of you watching are very, very busy. Yeah, so like about like my brain is not working. But basically, okay, on a high level, let me just say this. What am I trying to say?
How are you actually feeling?
I'm okay.
You've
I'm
been
okay, that's
thinking
good.
a lot deeply.
Always look on the bright side of life.
Mm.
Yeah.
So how do you like de-stress
Mm,
or just help your mind unwind?
well, like, okay. I mean, I always find going outside and sleeping to be very helpful. I mean, when I was in college, especially towards the 3rd and 4th year, I was often very sad. There was a lot, maybe because there wasn't a lot going on for me back then. As I said back then, the internships and all that, there's a lot of insecurities. Personal, professionally, academically, there's all sorts of things. Am I good enough for this? Am I good enough for that? Yeah, but I mean, I enjoy music, so that's something I would. It's very cathartic to listen to music. I think, and this is going to make me a lot of viewers. All the countable on one hand viewers. I listen pretty much exclusively to classical music, and when I was in college, I got into these like very grandiose, huge orchestral music. Gustav Mahler, if that name means anything to anyone, is my favorite composer. And he has these huge symphonies that is like the scale, which is beyond anything I've ever heard. And when I'm at in my saddest times, I would just put it on late and I put on my headphones, just blast that music. And I think I get a lot out of sort of enjoying music and movies that way. I feel like the art that I enjoy the most is the ones that eventually make me feel small myself, but sort of makes me recognize the vastness of the world. This is something that is Am I being very pretentious right now, chat? But no, it's just like I there's things like that sort of makes you realize, oh, yeah, like it puts you in that sort of mood. Like when you're really down about something, when you're really questioning yourself, or things really aren't going well, having a lot of issues with yourself or other people, or just things in life. I tend to do that, put on some music and just sort of give myself a cleanse, sort of, and then. Yeah, like I actually I went to the San Diego Symphony Orchestra. Actually played one of my favorite pieces by this specific composer with an orchestra last October the 6th. I went downtown. I was shaking by the end of it. It was so powerful, and yeah, like I was. It was incredible. Gustav Mahler Symphony No. 2. I would recommend listening to that, especially the last movement. Look for a recording from the BBC Proms in 2009, conducted by Gustavo Dudamel, I think, with the Venezuela Orchestra. But anyway, yeah. So like that's what I used to do and I still do certain things. And other things like it's just going outside because. As I said, I'm just the sort of person that likes to stay inside, and sometimes it really gets to you when you just stay inside all the time. It's not even about interacting with other people, which is a nice thing, but sometimes other people get on your nerves. So like going out there, just listening to the birds, watching the trees, or just breathing fresh air, it's always done wonders for me. I'm not saying it's a cure-all, obviously, but things, I slowly learned to, sort of manage these things because I don't want to throw around words like, sad, just sad moments. I don't want to go any further than that, obviously. There was a lot of that. I mean, obviously with the way things are nowadays, there's a lot of pressure from everywhere. And everyone eventually has to just sort of find their own way of coping. And I think I'd like to think that I am now on the other side of it. But then again, I'm only 25. I've got a whole world of problems waiting for me. So looking forward to that. Yeah. So how am I doing? I think I am in this present moment about as well as I can be doing. Which I hope everyone can say the same. I don't think I've ever had a moment in my life where I'm like, oh wow, my life is so great, my life is so wonderful. Which is something you feel a lot of people think when you go on LinkedIn. Like you go on LinkedIn and everyone's lives are just so wonderful.
I know.
I am
Yes.
proud to announce this. Let me share some of my life advice. Let me just say this, and I'm going on a rant now, and this is don't like so the way we go through life, right? And this is a discussion. I don't want to just be like me sort of talking about this. Like the way we go through life, like we are like linear creatures. Like we can only go on one path in life, right, to get to the point where you are now. And then I feel like what a lot of people tend to do, especially on LinkedIn, is they look at the path that they took to get to the point where they are, and they think that that is the only path, right? And then they go on LinkedIn or they go to this or that thing, and then they say, do this, and then you will be fine because I did this and I was fine.
Yeah.
So actually, when I started TAing, I had this tendency to say, oh, I did this, and you do the same thing, and you'll be fine. And I've increasingly come to realize, what worked for me doesn't necessarily work for other people. What worked for other people doesn't necessarily work for me, right? I've gotten to a point where I think I'm okay with my position in life, and some might even, think I'm in a particularly good position in life. In which case, I mean, I'm not going to say no. There's nothing I'm deadly unhappy about, thankfully. But yeah, the path that I took, like when I was in college, I never did any of the grinding. I never went to hackathons. I never did an internship, things like that. And I felt, there were definitely times where I was like, am I doing this right? Am I doing college right? I'm missing on all these things I never did. ACM, I never did IEEE, I never did all these things, student organizations. I wanted nothing to do with them because I was like, yeah, you guys are all tryhards. No offense.
Big offense.
I'm out of the club,
Yeah,
guys.
like
I don't care.
there were a lot of people who were just involved in so many things, and they would do.
And I didn't do hackathons.
You did do hackathons.
I never
Wow.
did.
Oh, you never did hackathons.
I never
Okay,
did.
yeah,
I prioritize sleep like you.
yeah. Right. So like I was constantly, and I was roommates with some brilliant people, and they made me feel horrible about myself. And one of whom moved to San Diego, and I'm still roommates with him. Like these people made me feel really terrible about myself. That's something that I genuinely went through when I was in college. Like these, so I mean I sort of found reasons to hate them. You know, I found reasons to not like these people, even though after all these years we managed to be good friends. But call it small-mindedness, call it whatever, but that's something that I genuinely went through. Because like I feel like they were on such a more glorious path, or like the more correct path than I was on, and I wasn't doing the right things. You know, I was, God knows what I was doing in college. They're definitely nowhere near as much as a lot of people that I know are doing right now. So yeah, I had to convince myself that I wasn't worse than these people, right? I wasn't less worthy. I mean, maybe as far as these big companies, these big universities are concerned, I wasn't as good, and that's an objective fact that in some aspects I was. But yeah, I went through a tough time, and I had to, in my head, I had to justify, like, how do I make myself the same as them? Right? Like, how do I think of myself as, how do I not think of myself as substantially worse than them? And the solution that I came up with was to bring them down to my level, find something to not like about them. And that was pretty toxic. I mean, they were fine people. I mean, obviously, yeah, one of them always messed up the kitchen, and I always had to do the dishes, and that was one of the reasons that I invented. But yeah, that's something I did when I was younger. Maybe I still do to a certain extent, but it's very, when you listen to too much advice from other people, supposedly successful people, and they sort of preach a certain style of personal development, this path that you're supposed to take, and if you sort of latch onto that idea, then does things to you. Yeah. So, like, for those of you at home, whatever you think, if you know me, whatever you think, wherever you think I am now, or whatever you think of my current position in life, don't give a shit. Don't think about it. Like, what am I? I'm like a few years into this CS thing, and I am in no position to be giving anyone any advice about anything, right? And obviously times change as well. So like, even if I genuinely have, is there such a thing as an objectively correct piece of advice? I don't think so. So even if I did have any of that, you know, that might have applied to some people 5 years ago. I mean, things change now. So like, I can say this, I can say that, I can say do this, do that. It doesn't necessarily help. So like, yeah, I don't want to sit here in this conversation and try to give anyone advice. Yeah, the only thing I guess, just, or do this, do that. The only thing I've said this before, is just do something rather than nothing. I guess the only thing you don't want to do is nothing. But other than that, I mean, there's no prescription for doing a computer science degree, and there's certainly not a prescription for doing college or doing anything. So getting to a certain, so much of it is luck as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's very relatable, especially like comparing yourself to others, and you're like, oh my gosh, like they're doing great, or like how are they so popular? What is this? And like successful. that's what's up. But I think that's true. Like everyone's path is definitely different. Like also everyone has like different struggles or different mindsets or different like
Yeah.
just different things. You know?
Yeah,
I think it's really just about like perspective. Like everyone has different perspectives, and there is a saying, right? Like the grass always seems greener on the other side, but that's because you don't know what's actually happening on that side, right?
Right.
So I think that is like
Yeah. So yeah, just try to come to terms with where you are and then who you are, and then don't beat yourself up, but at the same time, don't be a sanctimonious bastard.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of students in CS, because it is so like uncertain, like it's a difficult thing to like get an internship and get a full-time job. They like sort of seek out these like easy fix, like quick things that you could do, or like these things that have worked in the past, right? Like somebody LinkedIn posted like, this is my resume template that got me 16 offers.
Oh,
You
that-
should use
yeah,
it
yeah,
too,
yeah.
right? But it's like, you know, everyone has their own path to get an internship, and just because
An internship isn't even the only
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Obviously it's
yeah, but it's
Like-
just I think a lot of students just want to figure out, you know, like at least this worked at some point, so
Right.
maybe that's my best shot.
yeah,
It could be
that's the
something completely
mindset.
different.
It's not it's not scripture or anything. It's
Mhm.
not that's just a big mess of thoughts in my head. And just be nice to other people. That's something that is often a miss in the CS department because we deal with computers all the time.
Computers
Sometimes
don't have feelings.
computers don't have feelings, but people do. How to treat people, how to interact with people, how to deal with different things, different people. Just like, if you're, which comes back to what I said earlier about being, in the TA positions, is you don't want to be an a-hole, basically. Don't be an a-hole, which is hard sometimes. And you catch yourself slipping. And obviously, my fine hosts here don't have this problem, but
She's been power tripping. She's been power tripping in those 8A staff meetings. I'm not gonna lie.
8A staff meetings.
Yeah.
just
Huh?
don't power trip. If you ever find yourself in if you ever find yourself in such a position, carry it with kindness, carry it with good sensibility, and I don't know. I'm just spewing nonsense at this point.
No, this is
No,
very
this is
valid.
great.
And I think it leads me back to like the thing you mentioned at the very start, like finding your people that you feel comfortable with. I think like
Yeah.
this for me is like one of those. Like find your people. Like I'm also not like a party person. Like
You
There-
have to see
there-
me
there
in
were-
class, I'm like quiet.
There were very many
And then-
groups.
Huh?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, I'm like quiet.
I
in
don't
class.
see.
No, in class I'm quiet. I just nod my head. I'm like,
Okay.
or in other things. But I think going back to like the audience, like CS students who like maybe have this goal of like, oh my gosh, I want to be really successful, or like really want to do great in class, which is totally valid.
Right.
Or even like comparing yourself to others, like being part of the college life, of course, like
Yeah. No, what is
this for me
college?
is
College.
that.
The supposed college life sometimes felt like a mafia to me. The supposed college life.
Okay, good. I forgot we're
Game
like,
leader, game leader.
Bro.
yeah,
My
no,
hands are
but
up.
It's definitely tough, and I think the nice thing that also you embody is like you are a nice person. You're very kind. I think you're very welcoming. Like going back to my experience, just being your student.
Yeah.
Like I think you embody just like a very chill. You're a chill guy. Like you are like that reference. Just a chill guy. You're very knowledgeable, but yet very humble. Very willing to like sit down with people and break things down.
I think part of that, and I don't want to agree with you that I'm a nice person. I don't have an opinion on that. And I was a pretty big asshole 10 years ago. Like just ask my high school classmates.
That's like middle school.
Just- 10 years ago was high school for me.
Yeah.
Just ask my high school friends. I was a pretty big asshole.
The autos has got you.
I think it's just I think part of that is because I was never at the top of anything.
So like, I was not like my Omega successful friends who sort of went through college without any hiccups. I had very unhappy moments in college, academically, personally, with life. Of course, you look at other people, you think their life is all well and good, and that's something that there's that inherent bias. But yeah, like I feel like part of what, if I am what you say I am, then part of that is because I personally went through a lot of the things. So honestly, I identify not with the people at the very top, the high achievers. I identified with much more with, just the average person, because I was never at the top of anything, right? With school, with life, I was never a band person in high school, and the coolest kids in high school were the band people.
What high school did you go to?
And the basketball people, which God forbid I couldn't play basketball without breaking an ankle or something. So like, yeah, middle of the road, having to come to terms with who you are and who you probably won't be, it sort of gives you perspective. And obviously now I'm trying to say good things about myself. Oh, look at me! I have been empowered by my mediocrity, which is not what I'm trying to say, I suppose. But it does. I think it makes you a more. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. Like, because at the end of the day, the world isn't comprised of mega geniuses. Not everyone came out of the womb doing C programming and spend their boring teenage years writing shell scripts. And that's definitely not who I am. And I think in that sense, that I feel like that allowed me to relate more with people, because like a lot of PhD students. I mean, if you're a PhD student, sorry.
That's Thomas too.
Nah.
Mr.
You know what I'm trying to
Girl.
say.
Very soon. Very soon.
Yeah. So like, yeah, I'm in the middle of the road, and
We're all grinding in our own ways. Yes. In our own pace. This is beautiful.
all right.
So beautiful. Now let's cry with the bomb. No. Alrighty. Thank you, chat, for tuning in.
Thank you.
For the three
tomorrow?
people.
The real one.
The real one.
If any, what class do you teach? 190?
190.
If any
Yes.
190 students
Yes.
still here,
Dang.
drop your name so he gives you extra credit.
Yeah, write your name in chat right now.
I don't see Kenneth. Credit. Actually, give him a 0. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Now, Kenny, it's up for you, man.
Oh,
This is going public. But
this is
alriady,
public, guys.
we'll
Please
wrap it up.
remember.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Jerry.
Yes,
You're
thank
amazing
you very
guy.
much.
And also sorry for the chaos, but I think it's also because we're chill with you.
Yeah.
So we feel comfortable being chaotic and silly and goofy. But yeah.
Sounds good.
Chaotic.
So
All right.
yeah, we're gonna go buy food for Jerry because
Oh, no,
the
I
man
can't
is
eat now.
starving.
No, I'm full.
Are you sure?
For sure.
Okay.
Got plenty of chips. I'm on a diet.
Okay.
Good night.
So-
Bye.